not have the right to judge us on the arena floor. I will stand in my courage and I will look a fool because I will say that at the end of my life, I have breathed every last breath and I have given it all. Dang it. Could we not be courageous and say, my courage will inspire your courage and my failure will inspire your strength? What does it take for us to have a breakout year?
I'm so excited to bring some more fire up this stage. Part of the blessing of being in Growth Day is we have the best damn teachers in the game, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm so excited for this one. I had the opportunity to have one of our favorite speakers here and joining us in LA, and I said, yes, please, come on up. We have an amazing day. Some of you all know we've got some extraordinary teachers. All of them have achieved, I would say, outstanding financial wealth in their life. But most of us came from very little. And I think that what makes them most influential and wealthy is their heart of service, how hard they work, and how much they care for other people. And I had the opportunity recently to welcome into one of my masterminds an incredible talent. I had been seeing and watching her teach and how much she cared about entrepreneurialism, but about other people. I heard her story. I invited her to speak on one of my stages. I had never seen her speak, and she just crushed it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired by you. And then we finally had the opportunity to have her come at Growth Day LA. Her name is Jasmine Starr, is in this house, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Jasmine, let's go!
You can be the outcast, to be the backlash of somebody's lack of love.
I didn't know that.
Or you can start speaking right.
Thank you.
Listen, Jasmine's gonna light this place up. I thought we were throwing the video a little bit because my screen up here. I want you to welcome Jasmine with a Growth Day welcome that's so thunderous that she puts that energy in her heart to serve you at the highest levels, because so few people get to do what we do and get to come here to Growth Day LA in person.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jasmine Starr one more time. Let's go, Jasmine!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know about you, but I sat in these seats and I heard Brendan talk, and I just felt like he was speaking just to me. Wherever he looked in the room, he kept one eye on me like a frog. And I said, I feel like I am in the right room. But on the way here, it was a different story. I sat in the car with my husband. We dropped off our daughter at her grandma's, or should we say Abuelita's house. And I said, I feel nervous speaking on this stage because the last thing I would ever want to do is be duplicitous. For me to say one thing and feel another. And my husband said, you know how you take your power back? Say it. Say it. We hold our power when we stand in exactly who we are. The broken, the nervous, the perforated. And so I stand before you humbly saying the top growth strategy for 2024. That's a big, bold statement. And I don't know about you, but I believe this is a big moment. There was a time in your life where you imagined being in this room, sitting under the tutelage of that good man. And you said one day, what if? And that day is today. Job well done. Good and faithful person that you are to do the work to get you in the room. Everything that you have gone through has led you here today. If you could just take a second, could you just not think of where you were 12 months ago? Where you were 48 months ago? And to think of everything that you went through that didn't keep you down, and you are here. Look how far you've come. And if you have come this far with a broken arm, a punctured lung, a broken heart, a jacked up eye, and you say, I'm here now, guess what you can do? Guess what you have proven to yourself? Because belief is stacked upon the ability to get back up. The only reason you're here is because you made the decision to get back up. And before we move on, the AV team said, "Can you remove your earring?" And I said, "I'm so sorry, I'm Latina. We do not go out with earring." I mean, like, hello. The bigger my hoop, the bigger my attitude. And now I can hear the feedback. They were right. Lo siento, we're gonna take this off. Okay. Do not let me forget this. My name is Jasmine Starr. I'm CEO of Social Curator. I'm a podcast host. I am a creator. I'm a get in the room kind of girl. I don't belong in the room. It's okay. I'm gonna find my way through the back door, through the side door. I get into the rooms that my grandparents and aunties who came to this country weren't in the room, but they cleaned the outside. And now their nieces, their granddaughters, and their daughters get to stand on the stage of the buildings they cleaned. God bless America, y'all. Woo. I'm Mexican, half Mexican, half Puerto Rican, which means I like to work hard and I like to dance at the drop of a beat. Anytime, come on, y'all, come on, hey. Okay, and here's the thing, sometimes we sit too long, but we gotta get our body moving. We gotta get our soul moving. And I'm telling you right now that I was never the person to I'm gonna get on a stage and I'm gonna just be myself, because about half the room, I got ya. And the other half of the room is like, I'm not sure. That's okay. I don't need you to like me. I need you to trust me. I'm gonna earn your trust. Here's why. One of the things that we talk about so much is big moments in our lives that transform the way we see things. Remember how I said it's a big moment, they're actually in the room? I want today to mark another big moment in your life that you look back and you say, I decided to overcome an obstacle. So that this time next year, when you're back in this room, you could say, that obstacle, I found a way past, under, through, over, broke it down, stamped it out. I'm gonna get through this. But the reason I could talk about this is because I believe so many of us have this in common. In fact, by and large, we're more connected than we are separate from it. So if it affects so many of us, why do we not talk about this? If we're talking about our breakthrough top growth strategy for 2024, why don't we talk about it? Because I can tell you, if I'm being real, I battled it my whole life. My whole life. And I didn't have the tools. And then I got to a place in my life where my father is an immigrant from Mexico, my mother is from Puerto Rico. They met on the streets of East Los Angeles. There they had 5 children, and they didn't really have anything but like 2 tortillas to rub together and add some beans. That's what we had in our life. And so then, all of a sudden, the courageous decision to say, my father is an immigrant, and I am entering into a land of self-development, and I too am an immigrant. I'm a sojourner. I am the first of my folk to do things in a different way. Si se puede. That's right, baby. That's right. And for the Borincos in the house, huepa. We had to do things that we loved our parents for doing and then forgave them for their brokenness because they did the best they could. And so then we have to have the courage to say, I love you. I'm doing something different. How? How when you feel alone? I'm telling you that this is the invisible enemy that's holding many of us back. And what I've discovered, as you know from that car ride here, is the invisible enemy rears its head at different phases of your life and in your business. So please make no mistake. I would never stand on the stage saying, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Not at all. But I've decided to give this enemy a name. I want to know my opponent. I want to look at her in the face and say, I see you, but not today. Not today. Have you ever felt powerless? This feeling that something, someone, the job you didn't get, the promotion that you passed up for, if only that client had booked through when they said they were going to book, if only the bank loan had been approved, if only that venture capital had actually gathered up behind me to believe in this idea, if only they, them, that. If that happened, then 2023 would have been a different year. Wow. It's them. It's not us. Or is it? I've noticed that as I coach people through this idea, this enemy that plagues so many of us, is that powerlessness shows up in 4 ways. Now, the minute we know our opponent, the minute we could see him, the minute we could see her and say, I'm going to check up a little different. 4 types of powerlessness that present ourselves. Time. You just don't have enough time in your day to make it work. If you only had an extra 2 hours of your day, then you can do the thing you wanted to do. Perhaps you feel powerless to the attention that you are not getting. You're overlooked. Your boss doesn't see you. Perhaps the offers that you're making to people, they're not resonating, and then you think it's something about you. Maybe you feel underappreciated in your home, in your life, in your business. And when we feel underappreciated, they. And when we don't get a promotion, them. And if we don't get the funding, that. Perhaps you feel powerless to money. If you just had that number then. And so what happens is when we give our power away and say, you're stopping me, we remain powerless. We reach a place where we think, if only that. If that situation wasn't different, if that person wasn't different, if those things, so then all of a sudden, that thing is blocking us from moving forward. Now, I have to say, I've spoken on this stage once before. It was 12 months ago, almost to the date, in Huntington Beach, California. Yes! I got off that stage, y'all, and I have to tell you, I stepped on that stage, and my opening line, which came out of nowhere, was I was in this room, and everybody's hyped up, and everybody's cheering and dancing, and I was like, are we at a rave? What is this place? And then I come in here, and everybody's like, Brendan Burchard, and I was like, okay, Brendan Burchard, and I felt like I was saying, Mufasa, right? That was literally what I said on that stage, because I was like, what world and universe am I in that a person can command not something powerful within himself, but powerful from other people? It was fascinating, this nomenclature, this possibility. I got off the stage, and for the first time in my life, I turned to my husband and business partner, and I was like, it feels like I'm on the inside of a champagne bottle up there. I want to day drink with these people. This is amazing. And I thought to myself, can I have more of that? Can I start identifying things in my life that I continue to put blame on as a truncation of my success? I started really realizing I wasn't even aware of the power that the enemy had over me. I didn't realize the effect it was having subconsciously in my life and in my business. And this is something, as the CEO of a tech company, I work with thousands of business owners. And I have to tell you, this is the pattern. You know how Brendan today said the business equation? See it, solve it, sell it. That was a pop quiz, y'all. My dad's a pastor in East Los Angeles. I don't ask rhetorical questions. I need people talking back to me. Can I get a word? Okay. Let's go back to the equation again. Help me out. See it, solve it, sell it. That's right. I sat there. I was like, I'm selling the wrong dang thing. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm standing on the stage 10 minutes after sitting in that chair, realizing I had a whole epiphany that I was selling the wrong thing. I know. But here's the thing. It means nothing if I don't do anything with it. So let me tell you my business issue, so maybe you could see your business issue. This is not part of my notes. But part of being powerful is saying, I don't know what I don't know, but let me call my path and I'm going to stick to it. And you publicly can see what happens with that. So what I sell, no, this is not a sales pitch, and probably I'm positioning it as not such a thing anyway. The thing I sell with our community is the ability for a business owner to get marketing content, plan it, schedule it, get business coaching, and get your marketing out done for you. It's a social media agency in your pocket. That's our tagline. I'm selling resources, marketing, community. I've done pretty dang well for myself, hot dang. Yes. Didn't know a line of code, and in 2020, when the world shut down, decided, you know what I'm gonna do? Start a tech company. That sounds about impossible. It's possible. I went to law school here in Los Angeles, UCLA. Scholarship, baby, scholarship. I dropped out. So, my mom had a relapse of brain cancer, and I just had a whole life epiphany. And so then I thought to myself, life is short. What are you going to do with your one wild, sweet, beautiful, amazing life? When I saw my mom at USC North Hospital after having her second brain surgery and they said her time has come, I think to myself, life is short. What are you doing with it? I was like, I think I want to be a photographer. And my husband said, you don't own a camera. I know, but you see, if I got one and Google. My first year of business, I made $100,000. That was more than my family of 7 and my father made in 3 years, ever in my life. So the experience that I had was, we're going to Claim Jumper. You're going to get whatever you want. Mom, get the Coca-Cola. I was like Diamond Jim. We're going big, y'all. We're getting the carrot cake. That's how we do. The business took off. I started creating online resources for photographers, then business owners, and then companies started asking me to consult on their marketing and branding. And then all of a sudden, I started creating content, just sharing what I was knowing. I knew nothing. I was underfunded, unqualified, and uneducated, and yet I still did it. I had no business starting a business, and yet I did. God bless America. I am living proof that the most unqualified person in the room is doing the dang thing. And if you feel unfunded, unqualified, uneducated, uncalled, that's your decision. So, when in 2020 I see friction in a membership that I had thinking, here we have creating marketing resources for business owners, and they don't have a way to put it out online. So what do? I don't know a single line in code, and I said, I think we're going to create a SaaS, software as a service. I'm going to hire a CTO. Do you know anything about code? Not a dang thing. Do you know anything about product? Not a dang thing. Do you know anything about development? Not a dang thing. Do you know how much it costs? Have no idea. Let's do it. It's been good to us. But do you want to know what stops people from doing everything at their fingertips? This before this. And the reason that people are staying is I go in, I do coaching. I do these 10-minute pop-ins, mindset moments. And I was like, oh, you're not selling tech, baby. You're selling motivation. And that didn't feel real until sitting in that seat. So, let's see. Let's see what 2024 brings. I'll document it. I'll share it. And if it doesn't work at this time next year, next. Can I get an amen? Because it doesn't matter if you're married, single, black, white, young, old, professional, amateur, entrepreneurial, associate, entrepreneur. There are times that things that are outside of your control come up against you. And I know it feels frustrating. I want to honor that you're scared. I want to make sure that I know how hard it is, that you feel alone and that your fate isn't in your hands. That feels awful. I'm not going to change your mind. If you tell me that you are or have no control of your situation, I'll say, okay. Why? When you present me with a fact, I'm going to ask you a question. That's my job. And from you here in this room, when somebody presents you with a fact, I want you to ask them the very question I ask people. Jasmine, a fact. I'm $50,000 in debt. And then I say, what's your belief about that? I'll never get out of debt. I'm buried. I'll never get out of it. You're right. Now, if you tell me, when I ask, what's your belief? And you tell me, It's gonna be hard, and it might feel impossible, and it's gonna take a really long dang time, but I am committed to creating a plan to get out of debt. I'll say, you're right. So, what we have to do is accept facts and change our beliefs. Accept the fact that things did not go the way you wanted them this year. That's a fact. Accept the fact that your family members don't believe in what it is you're doing. Accept it. But what does it mean about the belief? That you need their approval? If you say you do, then you're right. And if you say you don't, you're right. The fact that you haven't made a single dollar off your business ambitions, fact. What is the belief we've applied to the fact? Your business won't work? If you say it won't, you're right. And if you say it will, you're right. So, powerlessness is not a result of facts. Powerlessness is the result of the beliefs we apply to these facts. So my question to you is, what do you believe? How do you get back in control? How do you show up powerfully? How do you say, I'm gonna succeed even though the odds are stacked against me? What are those things? I did not come here to give a pep talk. I came here to give actionable tools that I have handcrafted myself. And here's the thing, watching Brendan speak, he's like, I studied high-performing edge professionals. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? I did some meditations, I watched some YouTube videos, I have a great therapist. So I have to tell you though, we're gonna end up with the same dang thing. Why? This idea is what separates the most successful people. And I've seen it with people in my own community. Who sticks around? Let me ask a better question. When we watch Rocky 1 or 18, who are we cheering for? The underdog. There is something in us that takes pride in somebody taking pride and dedication to what it is they do when the odds are stacked against them. In fact, it's the American way. If it was harder for you, we like you a little bit more. So if you're like, everything's so hard for me, win. The odds are stacked against me. I can't get any attention. I post on social media. I journal every day. Win. Win. You're being set up for a win. I can't be the only person who sits in this audience who, I met Brendan's mom and he's right. She's happier than him. Is there a little part of you that just likes him a little bit more? He's from Montana. He wasn't fed on a silver spoon. He's asking for 3 months' rent, and now he's here on this stage. I do. Why are you not that person for somebody? We have that. You're being set up for it. Do you choose to win? I have to tell you, there are facts that we have told ourselves so many times, we actually don't even know we're telling ourselves that story. So my path intersected with an entrepreneur, and she had told me, hand to heaven, she's reached her limit. She can't sell anymore. She's followed every launch plan, she's offered every type of course, and no matter what she does or how much money she spends on ads, it's the same result. She's like, it's almost like I can put it to the dollar how much I'm gonna make. I can't get any more. Fact or belief? So I said, let's just try on new beliefs. What does it hurt? And then Brendan did that really cool example. I like that. Could I create something new? Maybe. Could I charge a different amount? Maybe. Could the offer look a little different? Maybe. And then she said, it normally takes me about a year to come up with something. And then I said, can you do it in 3 months? Maybe. What did she do? $60,000 in 3 months. Preparing, launching, closing with a high ticket offer with 20 people. Huh, interesting. When we talk about innovative ideas, when we talk about doing big things, this is not a matter of your capacity. It already exists in you, and yet we truncate ourselves because it doesn't fit in what we know and what keeps us safe. What if we maybe our lives? The biggest thing that I can tell in this moment is to choose empowering beliefs. But please focus on not the word empowering belief, focus on choose. I'm going to put my hand up and I'm going to say that I can choose to be safe. I can choose to sleep in 5 extra minutes. I can choose not to take that bet. I can choose to take the bet. I can choose to get up 5 minutes early, and I can choose belief. So I'm here to talk about the top growth strategies for 2024, and guess what? It has nothing to do with what I'm traditionally known for, which is marketing and branding. And some people are like, am I in therapy? I know. If you came to hear me talk about marketing and branding, number one, I apologize for the flip in the script. And number two, let me get you to the end. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. Nothing you can do will ever be effective until you change the belief. So, the 3-part framework to empowering beliefs. You want a breakout year in 2024? I want the same dang thing for you. So what are the tools that we're going to use? High level, comparison, confinement, and courage. But let's break this down one by one so that when we look at our opponents, we're playing a different game. Now, when it comes to comparison, there are 3 types of comparison, and I want us to draw distinctions because the way that we come up with these comparison with these tools, it works better when you have a switchblade, when you have a scalpel, and when you have a machete. Okay. Mental comparison. Well, that works for them. It won't work for me. I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too educated, I'm not educated enough, I'm too floofy, I'm too curvy, I'm too skinny, my nose is too big. Fine. Choose those beliefs. I am not going to argue for your limitations. The second type, emotional. Now, I know you didn't wake up this morning and you say, I'm not enough. Of course not. You're in Beverly Hills, California. You got here to pay $47 for parking. You're going to pay $87 for tacos from a taco truck that probably cost 87 cents. I hate to break it news to you. You don't feel like today you're not enough, baby. But maybe it shows up in the size of my dream feels a little too big for me. They could probably do it. That is a sneaky camouflage form of comparison. Physical. I don't have what they have. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the zip code of 90210. Yes! It's like, where's the peach pit? Anybody? Anybody? Come on, come on! Don't leave me up here making me feel old. If you didn't get that peach pit reference, I'm sorry, you had a deprived childhood. Okay. Listen, there is somebody in the world who doesn't live in 90210. And they might live where you live. And they might need to hear it from you in the way that you do it. So when you are feeling comparison come up and you've identified, I think the comparison that I'm feeling right now is mental. It works for them, not for me. I want to share a 3-part framework created by Jennifer Hootie that I learned, and I have to tell you, hand to heaven. Today, I'm sitting in that chair being like, okay, a lot of what I'm saying today, Mr. Brendan Burchard Mufasa is saying on that stage. I'm watching and sitting in the audience, and I was like, we're saying a lot of the same thing. So what happens? I go through this framework because I'm comparing myself. Who am I to speak on the same thing that this man is speaking about when I am the least qualified in this room to do that very thing? Why me? The message. Even if Brendan and I say the same thing, even if I printed out the very presentation he gave and I read it word for word, even if I did all of that, the messenger, somebody needs to hear it from me in my way. And somebody needs to hear it from you in your way. That's just it. And so if we stop ourselves from comparing that they do it better, let them. You can do it, and I can do it, and you can do it, and you can do it, and you can do it. And just in case you, like me, have a twin sister that nobody can tell us apart, and even if we read from Brendan's same script, people would think that the message was the same and the messenger was the same, but here's the kicker, the mechanism. Are you a podcast host? Are you a writer? Are you a blogger? Are you an actor? Are you a poet? What is your mechanism for sharing your message? So that even if you're saying the same thing as somebody else, and even if you don't feel like you being the messenger is enough, the mechanism in which the way you do it is landing with the person who needs to hear it. And I am not just talking about this in a business sense. I am talking about this in a neighborhood sense. I am talking about this in a PTA sense. I am talking about this in the play school sense. I am talking about this in the workplace. Somebody needs something from you, and you need to show up and let yourself be seen without comparing yourself. So, when we have these conversations, we have to remind ourselves that somebody needs to hear it from you in a way you can only do it. Now, the second type of comparison, again, what are we mapping to? Identifying mental, emotional, or physical. So when we say I'm comparing, we have the right tools. That outsized dream of mine that somebody else should be doing, I have to tell you that you would not have been given the dream if the ability wasn't already inside of you. The question becomes, are you courageous to say, I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it publicly? And if it doesn't work out the way I want it, I'm going to be okay. Because everything that led me to this point has prepared me for the thing I want. I am stronger, I am wiser, I am better. And if I choose not to quit, I can't lose. So this outsized dream of yours, when you think you're not enough, you are, if you choose to believe that that is in fact the case. And I don't know if you don't have the right car, the right clothes, the right shoes, the right private jet. When we park in parking lots, but private jets don't park in parking lots, but everything in Montana is a parking lot. Oh, those jokes just stick like honey on me, let me tell you. There's somebody doing more with less. If that doesn't motivate you, that there's somebody in the Andean hills with barely any internet and is going viral by creating content for them being it them, you got hope, kid. But guess what the difference is? Execution, consistency, and humility to learn. You don't have what they have? Good. Most people don't. Show up. You stick out for it. So, once you have made the decision that you're going to say, I see comparison and it's not going to stop me, what is the third framework for us to have a breakout year and have empowering mindset? Confinement. Now, I firmly believe that empowering beliefs are beautiful things to stack proof. The more you do one thing, a tiny thing, let's say your commitment is simply, I'm going to wake up 10 minutes early for 30 days straight. When you fulfill on that commitment, you're lodging in your brain that you have the power of consistency. And you're like, oh, that's so silly. It's just 10 minutes. When's the last time you tried it? If you say you're going to send Brendan a thank you note at the end of the year so he feels appreciated, and you put it a Google reminder on your phone, because today is December 1st, honey. If with the holiday things, you probably should get it in the mail to his P.O. box no later than next week. And then you do it, what are you doing? You're stacking proof that you walk in integrity. So if then we stack proof, confining our goals, it becomes that less is more. What I have seen a lot of times that stops people is they say, I want to do 87 things in the next year. So my breakout year is I'm going to launch 4 courses. I'm going to join 8 masterminds. I'm going to build up this amazing funnel. I'm going to ask for the promotion. My kids are never going to be unruly. My laundry is always going to be done. And I'm going to volunteer as the PTA president. Okay, ready, go. And 27 days into the year, you're like, there's always next year. So what if we were to decide that our greatest bet on ourselves is to pick one goal at a time? I am not saying I don't want you to do the 87. I want you to kill those 87. But I want you to put them in order of importance and then knock them off one at a time. That's it. When you want to have a breakout year, stack proof. My friend Rory Vaden says, diluted focus gets diluted results. The example that Brendan said of the person who launches a course in April, and then decides to do 17 other things thereafter, diluted focus gets diluted results. What did he say was his main breakaway to the other internet marketers? Singular focus again and again and again. Ooh, I love me some yard sale stories. I have to tell you, our whole house was furnished on yard sale goods. So many thanks to like the families. Well, the Burchards did it from Montana, and then we're gonna say that like the Bourguignon family, the Familia Bourguignon in East LA, they're like out there putting out regurgitated furniture. Yes. Thank you, because you just put a white sheet over that couch and you tuck it in, you fluff up them pillows, you got a brand new couch right there. Okay. What we've gone through, the tools that we need to have a breakout year: comparison. Who you are is enough. Confinement. Less is more. The third piece to having a breakout year and getting over many of the things that keep us powerless is courage. Courage is defined as the ability to do something that frightens you. If you loved yourself and you got real with yourself right now, could you think of one thing that frightens you? Good. Have the conversation. Say you're sorry. Profess your love. Put out the frickin' website. Post the social story. Start the newsletter. Sing the song. Write the poem. Publish the book for you. Because that courageous decision will have an impact that you have no idea for. None whatsoever. My grandmother came from Puerto Rico and worked in sweatshops here in downtown Los Angeles. And she would sew basketballs during the summer that she couldn't afford for her sons to play with. And she would sew bathing suits in the winter that her daughter would never use. She caught 3 buses to work, taking her mentally challenged son to one school, her daughter to another, and her son to another. She was in an abusive relationship, for better or for worse. And she made decisions to simply say, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it done. That was a courageous decision that I don't think she realized she was making for me. What courageous decision are you making siloed for the future generations who will say, Grandma didn't give up. Grandma stood on her feet. Grandma had picked fingers. Grandpa decided he was going to do this crazy thing on the internet. Grandma decided at 67 she was going to get on TikTok and everybody laughed. Auntie decided that she was going to start a newsletter when emails were dead. Silly her. And that act of courage changes a legacy. My question to you is, do you have the courage to change your legacy? Now, one thing I've discovered is that there's 3 types of courage, the same way there's 3 types of comparison. And once we identify the courageous decision we must make, it empowers and emboldens us. So choose wisely. A mental type of courage decision making. I believe even when it doesn't make sense. Somebody once told me, will you behave as if your success is guaranteed? Will you behave as if your success is guaranteed? Real life example, I'm launching something in January, new thing, off my normal thing. And I feel nervous, I feel uncertain, I feel excited, I feel hopeful, I feel like it's bad trash crazy, I'm not gonna lie. The courageous decision I am making going into that launch, it's already a success. It's already a success. But here's the thing that I have learned over time. It is already a success. You project are already a success. But I also know it will take longer than I think. It will look different than I hope. And it will be better than I ever imagined. That is a courageous decision. Emotional decisions. I act despite my feelings. I don't want to get up. I don't want to go on the run. I don't want to post on social media. I don't want to be disciplined to write a newsletter. I don't want to ask my boss for a raise or a promotion. I don't want to tell my partner how I feel like my cup is on empty, and all I really want you to do is put on the shiny shoes, even if the salmon is cold. Anybody get that toss back to Brendan? Thank you, son. Yes, showing up like it's church. Yes, the vest, the tie, all of it, I see you. Vest, let's go. So, what happens when we say we act despite our feelings? We're training ourselves that our circumstances don't affect our potential. That is an art form. The third type of courageous decision is a physical one. I do because I can, not because I must. I am courageous. I do because I can. Can you walk on your two legs? Walk. Can you climb with your two arms? Climb. Can you dream with your one beautiful bright head? Do it. Because that is a courageous decision that many of us who on the sidelines have an opinion of people who are running the race, who have the opinion of the people who are standing in the arena while they sit back with the dust in the air and they scoff, look at you, oh bloody fool. You and you and you do not have the right to judge us on the arena floor. I will stand in my courage and I will look a fool because I will say that at the end of my life, I have breathed every last breath and I have given it all. Dang it. Could we not be courageous and say, my courage will inspire your courage and my failure will inspire your strength? What does it take for us to have a breakout year? So what do I do after today? It feels so good. You guys are going to go to dinner tonight. It's going to feel like you have an emotional hangover. You're like, I'm so inspired. I'm so exhausted. Can I sleep for 3 days? And then you're going to get on a plane. And then if you guys have kids at home, you're like, bless it all. What did I sign up for? Exactly. We feel powerless, not because of our external circumstances. And we have to understand that. We gain our power back when we say, I am powerless because of my beliefs. And my beliefs are changeable. Your beliefs are changeable. If you believe you will have a successful, breakout, powerful 2024, you're right. When we talk about mediocrity into greatness, as we go into closing, the ability to choose empowering beliefs is what keeps you moving forward. I do not have empirical data. I haven't interviewed brilliant, on-the-edge professionals. I do not have billionaires investing me in consulting yet. But what I have seen in my neck of the woods, from the warehouse to the White House, is the people who win simply believe they could. So do we have the courage to do that very thing? Will we choose to look over comparison and believe that we are enough exactly as we are? Will we choose to see there's power in confinement, less is more? And will we choose to say, I'm going to make a courageous decision? I stand before you telling you in 2017, my husband and I married my high school sweetheart. If anybody were to ever meet him, they would look at him and be like, bro, she married up. And then I'd be like, yes, I know, thank you. I invested in good Google stock early on. Yes, I did. So we had been together the majority of our lives, and in 2017 decided to start a family, albeit a little bit differently. And so the dream of ours was, we're ready to start a family, and it's going to look a little bit different, and it's going to look a little untraditional, and we accepted that. We were excited about it. I dreamt of a healthy daughter. I dreamt of a healthy family. I dreamt of healthy relationships between everybody involved. I wrote it myself. I wrote a letter to my child's birth mom. I said, I hope you're doing well. I can't wait for what's in store. I know that you're taking great care of yourself, and I know you're making great decisions, and I know you're eating healthy food, and I know that you're loving this child with everything you can. AKA, I did the work. The dream. I just wanted a little girl, but I said I was open. I was open, but what I wanted was a little girl to love and mold. That's exactly what I wanted. So I did the work until I realized that the work is the work. We started off hoping that we would adopt internationally, but at the time in this country, international adoptions with political considerations was not advisable. So we then moved. We're going to work with an agency. And when we were there with the agency, we went through training, and then one day at a flip of a hat on a Wednesday night, somebody came in to talk about fostering to adopt. And I sat there, I was like, not for me. No. I turned to my husband, not for us. No, it's okay. On the car ride home, it's quiet, and he says, you're thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. He says, do you want to pursue it? I said, I think I do. So then we switch and we work with a foster to adopt agency, and we go through all of these trainings and certifications, and it takes us about 9 months to do all of the work. And right before we get in, I start doing back of the napkin math to talk about statistics and ability for placement. We would have to be placed a few times with the foster child and get them back to their families until a child became eligible for us to adopt, and I just wept bitterly. I said, I can't do that. I can't get a baby and love that baby and turn it over. I'm not ready for that. And so then we said, okay, came to Beverly Hills, found a lawyer. I said, I think I've done the work. I need to move on. Help me find a way to a family. So we went through more trainings. We went through more certifications. And then we got approved. And then the first time, we got to the final 2 families, a few months in. And then we were not chosen. And then another time our lawyer called us, he's like, you're in the final 2 contention again. I was like, this is amazing. I can't believe it's gonna happen. And then we weren't chosen. And then it happened again. And you can't help but feel, oh, this is about me. I'm broken. I'm not meant to be a mom. Fact and belief. The fact I wasn't chosen, and the belief I was choosing was it's me, instead of choosing a different belief. So we waited 4 years. I have to tell you, have you waited for something much longer than you ever hoped and prayed? So we get those questions of why? This is terrible. Why me? This is unfair. This sucks. It must be them, they, that. When I realized it was me, I was choosing to be powerless as a protection mechanism to disappointment, to fear, to denial. So then, imagine my surprise and delight when we get a phone call and our lawyer says there was a baby who was born in Las Vegas, Nevada. Get in your car and go. My husband and I throw everything into a car. I have not a piece of baby anything. And then we get to Las Vegas and we're feeling so hopeful. And the next morning our lawyer calls us and we think we're gonna be placed. And he says, I'm so sorry, the baby was placed into foster care. I said, okay, so what do I need to do? And he says, there's nothing to do. And so then the case is put into court, and then it is appealed and is turned into Nevada appellate court. My husband is there with me. My parents have flown in from Los Angeles, and all we can do is sit outside of a courtroom and beg and hope and pray that this could be our chance. And by divine intervention, that baby's birth mom, the one I wrote a letter to, showed up to court and said, I made some mistakes. I want that family to adopt her. So, on February 2nd, 2020, they knocked on our hotel room, and we got the biggest blessing of our lives. If I can go back and tell myself, Jasmine, why did you not enjoy the process? Why could you not be patient? Why could you not enjoy those long, luscious nights of sleep? Why did you forsake those date nights that you sat across your high school sweetheart and said, it's me, instead of toasting him and saying, it's me. She's waiting to find me. I need the time to become her mom. I need the time to believe that I wasn't meant to shape and mold her. I needed to be shaped and molded before she found me. But this isn't just about me. You are going through your Nevada appellate court system. You're going through your 24-hour notice. You're going through the foster care system. And I have to tell you, if I have learned anything, somebody will stand up for you. The person you least expect it will come up and say, that is the person. And it is that one person who will have a forever change in your life. So all I'm asking you today is to make the courageous decision to say one person, one day, one time. If you walk out of those doors and you think that this is a possibility, because somewhere out there, there is going to be somebody in the future who says, I know you wanted to quit and you didn't. I know you got knocked down, but then you got up. I know that the system was unfair. And you chose to move forward anyway. If you don't hear it in this lifetime, I promise you people in the future will thank you for what you so chose. Why? As a living testament of the people who've gone before me, and as a living testament of the people who will come after me, your action inspires action, and your power inspires power, and your strength inspires strength. That's it. But in order to be strong, you must make strong decisions. And in order to inspire other people, you must work past your moments of doubt and deepest, hardest moments. So, what we come to realize today is when you make these decisions to have a breakout year, please know, it's like that moment when you say, I'm gonna stop eating cheesecake, and then somebody comes around with a free slice of cheesecake. We've just surprised you, the chef made it fresh. You give up smoking, and then there's a random pack on the trunk of your car, right? When we say we're going to do something, when you say, I'm gonna have a breakout year in 2024, ooh, good. The whisperings and the shiverings of that invisible enemy called powerless, 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 rears her head and says, will it be attention? Will it be money? Will it be time? What am I going to mess with you with this year? And then, like that little Post-it note, not today, Satan, because I'm powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast,
Love ya.
backlash of somebody's
Jeff,
black